In a recent tournament stream, I talked a bit about how a lot of missile cavalry and chariots don't have either the damage or ammunition to typically pay for themselves. One that might surprise you as not falling into that category, at least in this specific matchup, is the Tirnoch chariots of the High Elves. They've got a lot of ammunition at 50, and they've also got magic damage on their bows, since demons don't have missile block chance, rely on their physical resistance, and don't have any armor. Actually does mean that the Tirnoch chariot skirmish damage is actually really good in this matchup specifically. They've also got 80 armor, really nice melee defense for a chariot unit with martial prowess, and some decent anti-infantry melee damage, which can certainly act against one of the main threats against demons. For any missile unit, that being Furies, of which there are a couple of Corn Furies here. We've got ODM, I believe it's Persian Warrior here, very skilled player on the opposite side of Sal here. Michael, the submitter of this replay, playing the High Elves. He's got those two Tirnoch chariots. He's got a couple of Illyrian Reavers with bows here, of course, one of them being the Heralds of the Wind, a regiment of renown. It's also got some spearmen, 3 of them, Sisters of Avalorn. Looks like some Silver Helms over there, and Tyrion with the Elite Fireborn and a Mage of Life. As for the demons opposing them, we've got a line of Bloodletters here, including some Regulars and Exalteds mixed. We got some Fiends as well. Fiends incredibly good right now, and definitely one of the best units for demons and Slanesh. Some Seekers as well. I don't know if this is fought in a specific tournament rule set that limits the amount of Fiends you can take, but maybe that's the reason why we only see one. We see Seekers, who are just worse, but fulfill a kind of similar role. As a fast attack unit, this Keeper of Secrets here already putting a Pavane on these Illyrian Reaver archers to pull them out of this formation and into some Bloodletters. Well, they'll get absolutely slaughtered, but we see here the Exalted Bloodletters taking some shots from the Tirnoch chariots. They have decent AP on their bows as well. 10 AP per shot is definitely not bad. It's like, you know, like a third AP-ish. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be a pretty quick game here as the demons rush on in. We can see the Seekers moving forward. We've got these Fireborn here who can kind of screen them. They pull back because they probably don't want to get just a heads-up engagement against those units. Those poor Illyrian Reavers just getting absolutely slaughtered there. The rush is going to land. These Exalted Bloodletters obviously will cleave through the spears, so they'll definitely need some kind of magic or other intervention to help hold. But here come the Fireborn, led by the Life Mage here. Again, sort of feinting in and out on this flank. Neither player wanting to get a bad engagement. The Seekers get a charge order here while the back is turned. See, actually, the Tirnoch chariot range damage is quite good there, but then, like I said, this is not an engagement that the Seekers want to take heads up. They do get absolutely clobbered there on damage. Furies then charge in to try and help salvage things. We're going to see the Tirnoch chariots deploy into melee mode and go over that way. Here, unfortunately, these Heralds of the Wind get caught up on Fiends, and despite their extra melee stats, they're still going to lose out pretty badly against those Fiends in melee combat, especially with the Seekers now getting involved. And the front line also crumbling pretty quickly for the High Elves, especially wherever the Exalteds are. No surprise, High Elf Spearmen not really designed at all to win that fight, but you see here how the Tirnoch chariots actually just straight up kill that Fury, and now can start to skirmish away with their bows a little bit there. That one had been enraged by the ability of the Exalted Keeper of Secrets here. That extra little melee defense debuff and enrage. I can grab the unit card here. Banner's getting all up in the way, but yeah, Seductive Glory. Pretty nice effect, actually. One that I had forgotten the Exalted Keeper of Secrets has. It's actually pretty good. Unfortunately, you do have to take the Exalted Keeper of Secrets to get it. But, you know, maybe a subject for another day. But Tirnoch chariots pulling away here, doing a little bit of anti-infantry damage against the Bloodletters. Not really getting too caught up, like, in the center of the unit, so they're able to get away no problems there. The rest of the build, though, is crumbling pretty badly. Silver Helm's just getting overwhelmed by Seekers, and in general, the High Elf Sisters of Avalorn got eaten up there after initially defending okay against the Fury Assault. Tyrion will continue fighting for some time, and the Tirnoch chariots have plenty of ammunition to try and kite this out a little bit here. The Exalted Keeper of Secrets actually does carry a missile block chance, only 20%. Not huge, but not many large monsters actually have a missile block chance, so something is certainly better than nothing, and especially when it's a low kind of volume of fire, high damage on individual shot situation like what we have with the Tirnoch chariots here. yeah, the missile block chance actually could be potentially impactful if you get good rolls on it, but we see some shots also landing on the Fiends here as well. Again, the burst damage is not crazy, but it's very similar to something like a War Wagon. War Wagons are certainly one of those missile chariots that doesn't need any buffs, and at times has been meta-defining for the Empire. Right now, there's other stuff that's stronger. War Wagons are still pretty good, but again, a lot of it comes down to the ammo count, and we'll certainly compare after the fact of ammo counts, as it's looking like this game is going to be over pretty quickly. Michael here struggling to hang on as the Fiends almost catch the Heralds of the Wind. Heralds of the Wind actually 105 speed does allow them to get away ever so slightly, but with Furies closing from the other side, it's not looking too great. Tyrion's actually fighting pretty well, and if the High Elves didn't run into army losses here, they might actually be able to pull this out slightly, but yeah, once the Seekers actually catch the Tyrannarch chariots, it's going to be all over for them. And yeah, you can see this other chariot here did get enraged into the Keeper of Secrets, and ended up taking a bunch of damage, but yeah, it's going to be victory for the Demons. No surprises necessarily, but the surprise for me, really, in this replay, and the reason I wanted to cast it, is the value on these Tyrannarch chariots, man. That's like the bright spot of this High Elf build for sure. A lot of other stuff's generally going to struggle to pay for itself. There's a few other units that did okay, and like Tyrion, if he had the full late-game grind, right, probably could have done quite a bit of damage there, especially because the Exalteds do fire damage, and he has 40% fire resistance, so they're going to do very little in a surround on him. But, I mean, obviously, there's still the Fiends and the Exalted Keeper that could definitely deal with him. But, yeah, the Tyrannarch Chariots, 1,000 damage value there, 1,200 damage value there, both pay for themselves. You pay about 900 for these chariots, which is a pretty decent price. But especially in this matchup specifically, like, you got the magic damage on the bows. They're basically Fury-proof, more or less. I mean, I'd be curious to see their performance against Slanesh Furies that have AP, but due to their own anti-infantry damage and mass, they can just, like, pull away from the Furies if they really need to, and then, you know, have another unit maybe countercharge in, or they themselves, as we saw, can countercharge the Furies and do some really nice damage. But, yeah, both these units, very impressed with their performance, and this is absolutely the dream matchup for them. I mean, the biggest threats by far are the units that we see here, these fast attack Slanesh AP units. And I think if you were to maybe sort of design this build specifically around the Tyrannarch chariots, we'll have to look at the unit caps. I don't remember in the tournament rule sets. I think you can take 4. I'd have to double check that. Maybe someone can let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, on the Demon side here, obviously, Exalted Keeper of Secrets actually gets some really nice value here. Interesting kind of tech piece with that Enrage. The Bloodletters don't really have too much of a problem carving up that front line. Seekers managed to get some good value, and the Fiends, of course, are Fiends. Very good stuff. Furies, a few of them were well limited. One of them ends up getting some pretty good value. But yeah, let's take a look at the High Elf unit caps real quick. And probably should have checked the actual Fruit Rules document before this, but at least in unit caps, you can take up to 4 of these guys. So if you're facing off against Demons with the High Elves, could potentially be a tough matchup. But I think maybe kind of basing your build off of 4 Tyrannarch chariots, like, that maybe sounds a little bit insane, honestly. But, like, if you think about, like, what are the threats that could kill these guys, right? Definitely the Fiends and the Seekers are quite scary, so I do like the pick of the Anti-Large Fireborn. They're good in basically every High Elf build, but they kind of help protect against those mobile units, right? Your own cheap light cavalry are probably not going to cut it. And neither necessarily were Silverhelms or Dragon Princes, so this is where you'll maybe start to run into some issues with a build like this, is like, you know, do you commit to the full kite? You really can't take that many more 360 shooting units, right? So, like, this would be max on your skirmish power, potentially, your mobile skirmish power at least, and then, yeah, could potentially run into some other issues, but it'd be interesting to see, I don't know, maybe, yeah, maybe go with, like, I don't know, we're already getting super expensive on this. It's it's tough to really take an army, and that's the thing. I mean, the Tyrannarch chariots, as we saw there, were cost-effective, but would having more of them actually be a better thing? It's interesting. I'd definitely be interested to try something like this for myself against Demons and see how it goes. Maybe it's too much, because, like, by the time you know, pick a Lord here, whoever it may be, and then get a Life Caster on top of it, or maybe your Lord is the Life Caster, but regardless, it's gonna start to get real expensive real fast. So, I mean, something like this, even with just maybe Earth Blood and honestly, maybe Dwellers instead of Regrowth, just for some AoE damage, since we'll be, you know, maybe not, probably be good to have Regrowth if we have the gold, definitely for the Fireborn. But yeah, take a self-healing lord here like Tyrion. He's got the fire and magic damage himself. He comes up against like a Nurgle bro or something else. Oh, am I on dominations? That way the funds are like not... There we go. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, Sunfang, Heart of Avalorn. These other two, if you have the gold, fine. But they're not priorities as much as Sunfang and Heart of Avalorn are. And then from here, yeah, I mean, there's some different things you could try and do to support these guys. But I don't know. You guys have to let me know down in the comments below. Maybe you mix in like the Wild Phoenix or something. Yeah, and then just some spears, maybe some sea guards. Like this. Predator Brohan, if you're out there, let me know what you think of this build. Is this too much? Is this too insane? I actually think like this doesn't have the tools to deal with yeah, the fiends and the seekers. You'd kind of be running for your life with these Tyrannok chariots. Maybe if you follow along with the Frostheart Phoenix in the air, you can actually just like slow the fiends and whatnot with the Blizzard Aura. You could maybe even drop the Frostheart Phoenix just straight into them and then maybe countercharge in with the Fireborn. Right? Kind of use the Frosty as bait in a little bit. In that case, we definitely want to have regrowth, so let's go ahead and switch Dwellers out for that. But again, you can tweak this however you really need to, but I'd just be curious, you know, really focusing on those Tyrannoks. It just offers so much in that matchup. But anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.